back to our list. I'm going to recognize Paul Calvert. If you would take a seat at the end of the table and state your name and who you represent.
My name is Paul Calvert. I'm from Faulkner County area. I don't represent anybody in particular. I represent myself. I'm here on behalf of liberty and justice. First of all, I would like to kind of discuss the issue of discrimination. It's often seen as a dirty thing that we should not do, but discrimination is simply choosing one thing and then rejecting another. Discrimination is indeed holy in many cases. I mean, and sometimes it's not even a moral issue at all. I may discriminate against certain types of food. I don't like broccoli, so I discriminate against it. It's a good and moral thing to do, and so it's not inherently evil. We all make choices, whether based on who we make choices for who we marry, and other things that we prefer over things we don't prefer. It's not evil to discriminate from an inherent standpoint. And when we're dealing with private property and private individual rights, then discrimination is essentially pro-choice. That's what we do. We choose. That's what discrimination is about, and that's what choice is about, is discriminating. That's not a bad thing to discriminate. When it comes to government, though, discrimination is a problem. When the government says that because you're black, you have to go to the back of the line in the courtroom for your case, or because you're only 4 feet tall, and the tall people get to go to the front of the line. So that would be an illegal form of discrimination, in my opinion, because it would be unjust. On the other hand, in my private business, if I want to tell people that you can't come into my candy shop unless you take your shoes off, well, that's kind of stupid on my part, but it's my right. It's my property, and maybe nobody will come to my business, but that's my right. I have the right to be stupid on my own property, and I shouldn't be shut down by the government for that. I think another issue with this particular bill is that a lot of times conservatives want to promote local control, and I think a lot of times that is a good thing. However, a lot of times, one of the main reasons why we have government in the first place is because we try to prevent powerful people or groups of people from trampling over the rights of those who are weaker. This can come in the form of a large man bullying a small man, or it can come in the form of a local group of people forming a majority and then imposing their opinions on a minority of the citizens who have other opinions. I think the main point of this bill is to prevent local bodies from bullying minorities. In this case, religious minorities who can't who can't compete as far as on the field of votes to get their ordinance passed. In Fayetteville recently, there was there's a law passed on the city level, and the local people actually managed to overturn it after working really hard. I thought that was pretty stinking cool. I don't think that happens very often, but they really worked hard on this, from what I understand.
I was there.
I think what else here?
I don't do that.
I just wanted to touch on this earlier. Local control is often good, but I believe it can be good to ban local communities from making certain laws that violate people's rights, and I think that is what this is attempting to do. I think we agree that the Arkansas Constitution does and should protect a person's right to their religious beliefs. I believe this bill gives citizens some tools to fight against a local government body that is running roughshod over their rights. And I think citizens need that. And I think one of the purposes or one of the points of having a legislative body is to actually make rules that are consistent with and enforce the Constitution. I think that's probably part of Mr. Ballinger's goal here, is to help actually implement the Arkansas Constitution as it's written, as opposed to just kind of leaving it in the shadows or to run dormant, as it may seem. One last thing. I would like to say that I am disgusted that taxpayer-funded groups are using their power to fight against legislation that helps to restore our rights. To me, this sounds like a serious conflict of interest. It should I should not have to compete with taxpayer-funded lobbyists. This needs to stop. And I feel like some of the people who are lobbying against this are doing just that. I have to come down here with my own money, spend my own time, and I have to come down here and compete with my own tax dollars, lobbying against legislation I think is good. I think that's just wrong. I will take questions.
All right, seeing no questions, thank you for your statement. We're going to go back to the against list. Marie Maynard O'Connell. If you would, take a seat at the end of the table, state your name, and then